Well, tonight is a really tough loss for us. I was really proud of my team, how we responded to not playing very well against Michigan State a couple nights ago. Thought we came back. We had a couple of good days of preparation and thought we were really ready to play. And for 37 minutes, I thought the game was right there for us. Give Purdue credit. It's a winning program. It's they scored the last 11 points there. They made big shots. Hunter made a couple big ones. Obviously Proctor's three, when we ran him off it, he kind of sidestepped, hit the three, and then the last one, and we weren't able to kind of answer those. I thought we had a couple good looks during that stretch. We had a couple open threes as well, and obviously the last play, I thought we got down in the teeth of the defense and shoveled it off, and just weren't able to come up with the ball down there under the basket. But I really feel for our guys, but these are the kind of times, especially when you're a young group and you're in a league like ours, like these are the moments that, test your mettle, so to speak. We've been here before, and we fought to a really good place, and that's what we're going to do with these guys. And I'm seeing a lot of good things. I mean, we closed the game with 3 freshmen and a sophomore on the floor. You had Bowie, Ryan Young, Robbie Barron, Miller Kopp on the floor closing the game. The only way you figure it out is by being in these battles and learning, and sometimes having to learn really tough lessons and feeling a lot of pain, which they feel now. It's not a good feeling, when you give your all and you put together a really good game and you come up a little short. But we're gonna rebound from this. We're going to keep fighting, and we're going to get better, and we're going to win. And that's the bottom line. I don't know when, but this group of guys is going to win because they're good players, they're invested, and they're going to keep battling. And I know that for sure.
Coach, your team has now lost 4 games this year where you've been leading by 5 points or more going into the final 5 minutes of the game. Why has your team struggled so much this year to hold on to leads late in games?
Yeah, I mean, every game's kind of a little different. It's about getting stops and finding buckets, obviously, in the last 4 minutes. And, every game has kind of a different feel to it. But, it's tough. It's tough. And, as a staff, we have to continue to put our guys in those situations, in practice. But the reality is practice can't replicate that. You can't replicate that game pressure when, you got to make a play, you got to get a stop, you got to get a looser ball. And the only way you can learn is by being in it. And, we've had some tough losses this year that really, like you said, I mean, our record is not indicative, in my opinion, of where we should be. But the reality is we haven't closed the deal in those games. And we have to just keep putting ourselves in those positions. Like, that's what I told the guys. Like, you have to keep putting yourself in that position. It reminds me so much of my second year. I think we were 1-10 as well. And we played, with McIntosh and Law and Pardon and all those guys and Ola and Demps. And we were just battling every night. We couldn't win. We just couldn't get over the hump. And eventually we did. And when we did, we won 5 of our next 7 because they broke through. And that's what I told the guys. Like, you just have to keep coming to the doorstep. And every time you go through something like tonight, hopefully it hardens you and toughens you a little bit more. And so when you're in it the next time, when it comes to getting that stop, or it comes to really getting that bucket you need to kind of get the momentum back on your side, you'll be more prepared to do that.
What did your offensive play calls look like in the last 4 minutes?
Well, their pressure really affected our ability to run. Their pressure really put us in a position where we had to play out of our pick and roll game. I mean, they do a really good job pressuring the ball, and they extended us out on the floor. And so we were playing out of a lot of our pick and roll sets. I think we had a couple turnovers there. I know Pat had one where he kind of drove in and maybe Bowie, but I thought we got 2 really good looks in the corner that were the same looks they got, maybe even more open than Proctor's 3. So sometimes, it's a make or miss deal, and give Hunter credit. He came off, hit a 17-foot J. All they did was run a pick and roll. So, I thought 2 teams were playing very well defensively, and it forced the other team to kind of get into a situation where you had to go to some individual tendencies and give their guys credit. They did. Hunter made a big layup. He then made a pull-up. Proctor, we ran him off the 3. He sidestepped and hit a very difficult 3-point shot. And then Stefanovic, hit a big shot on the last one.
You guys got the ball for that last offensive possession with 53 seconds left. Did you consider trying to get into the offense a bit quicker and go for a potential 2-for-1 in that spot?
Yeah, we wanted to get into something quick, and we wanted to try to get a 2-for-1 for sure. We tried to go to like a quick hitting set, and they kind of blew it up, and then we had to get the ball back. You can't just, if it's not there. We definitely wanted to get a 2-for-1, but we also didn't want to crank up something at that point of the game just because of the 2-for-1 situation. And that was a play. Like Pat got in there, he got it to Ryan. We had it right at the basket. They got a hand on it, or I didn't see the replays. It was a bang play, and we weren't able to finish. But I thought it was a good possession. But to answer your question, yeah, we wanted to go into something quick, but we also didn't want to take a bad one if it wasn't there, and they kind of blew up what we were trying to do initially.
Down the stretch, at that 4-minute timeout when you guys are up 8, with the history of this season, what's the message to your guys, and how do you keep them from thinking, how are we going to
confidence? Yeah, no, it's human nature. When you've been in this situation and you've struggled, until you break through, it's on your mind. So for me as a coach, it was all positive. We're going to win. We're going to win. We've played well. We're going to win. We're going to get a stop. We're going to score. It was all positive thoughts. It was all keeping their minds into the fight no matter what had happened before that. It was a 4-minute game, and everybody on the staff, it was just all positive reinforcement that tonight's the night we're going to win. And that's what you have to continue to do. But until you do it, yeah, it's, of course, human nature, when you've had 4 or 5 like this that don't go your way, when you get back until you kind of slay the dragon, so to speak, you gotta get that thought out of your head. And so, we just got to get prepared, and hopefully in the next game we play, put ourselves in that position again. And and find a way in those last couple minutes to do the things necessary to win.
Said, is your job now more X's and O's, or more taking care of their mindset?
Yeah, I think we're very, very young, Skip. So mindset is key. We've outside of Michigan State, and part of that was them. We did not play very well in the Michigan State game and got beat pretty badly. These last stretch of 5, 6, 7 games, I feel like we're playing pretty darn good basketball. We're playing really good teams that know how to win, that a lot of them are a lot more experienced than we are, and it shows up in those kind of moments. And so for me, just trying to keep our guys in the fight, when you continually kind of get back up and then you get knocked down again, you're always tested. Do you want to get up again? That's anything you're in, and everybody goes through it, and I told them we're going through some adversity. And for some of these guys, maybe as freshmen, who've won a lot and been in, winning situations, it's the first time they've been kind of knocked back. And I've always said, though, that's when you find out what you're made of, and there's not a person I've been around at some point, and I've been really lucky to coach the best of the best in my career. Everybody gets to points in their career where they get knocked down, and the ones that are rewarded are the ones that keep fighting. And I really like the mindset of our guys, because there have been a number of times this year where they could, not lay down, but, be beaten down to the point of, I don't know if I want to keep going back to the drawing board, especially with as good as our league is this year. It's These teams are very good teams. And so, yeah, I mean, I think more than X's and O's right now is keeping this group continuing to fight, coming back to practice, and using this week to get better and getting ready for our next game.
Coach, on that last play, the game winner by Stefanovic, did you see anything with your defense, like where they might have made a mistake or like?
Yeah, I'd have to look at it. You know, I know they ran a little weave into a pick and roll action, and I'd have to look at kind of how we were tagging on the backside, and I don't want to misspeak because you know, obviously they threw back to him and he got a clean. I thought it was pretty deep, you know, but give him credit. But I'd have to look at the film to kind of see how we guarded that thing. All right, thanks guys.